Have you ever heard of the phrase, you need the right tools for the job? I'm not going to ask Gordon Ramsay to help me build a house. I'm not going to ask Bob the Builder to help me bake a cake, because Gordon Ramsay isn't going to bring the right tools to help me build that house. And Bob the Builder isn't going to have the proper measurements to help me bake that cake. Well, the same concept applies to Destiny 2 PvP. If you're going to be going into Trials of Osiris, survival, competitive, or basic quick play, you're going to want to use the most effective tool out there. What's up guys, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Crucible man, BRAVExHERO, and today's video, we're going to be talking about the best weapons in the current Destiny 2 meta. But like always, before we get into the video, do me a huge favor, and if you find this video helpful in any way, then click that like button and share this video with your friends. But without further delay, let's get into the video. Now I know what you're thinking. This is going to be a list and it's going to contain all hand cannons, or at least majority hand cannons. Well, hand cannons are strong in this meta. Shoot, we're talking about Destiny here. Hand cannons are strong in almost every meta. The first weapon we have on the list, surprisingly, isn't a hand cannon. We're gonna have the Vigilance Wing, aka the mobile turret. Let's be serious here. This gun does it all. Unlike your average pulse rifle, the Vigilance Wing is a 5-round burst with an exotic perk, Harsh Truce. When a nearby ally is killed, gain health regeneration and increased movement. Which, when it comes to game modes such as Trials of Osiris and Survival, this perk goes hard. Now, the final perk specific to this weapon is Last Stand, which improves weapon performance and greatly increases recovery when the wielder is the last living member of the fire team. Now, on paper, this weapon sounds great, but how does it perform? For starters, this weapon can be used at all levels, from beginners to seasoned Crucible players. This weapon, being a 5-round burst, can provide a lot of leeway in 2 different departments. For starters, this weapon is extremely forgiving. If you're a new player stepping into the Crucible and you're not too confident in your shots, you can still get an effective time to kill even if you drop 1 or 2 rounds. And the reason behind that is because you only need 8 shots to land for critical, essentially meaning if you drop 2 shots, maybe you shoot too high or maybe you miss, you can still secure a 2 burst kill, which is awesome. Now, switching gears, in the other department where this weapon provides a lot of leeway is going to be the range. Due to the fact that it is a 5-round burst, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage. The further away that your target is, you can still deal a good amount of damage. Again, because it goes back into the 5-round burst. Essentially, guys, if you're new to the game, or maybe you're a seasoned player, the Vigilance Wing shouldn't be slept on. It is a top tier weapon, and if you're looking to perform well in the Crucible, this should be your go-to pulse rifle. Moving on to number 4, we have a gun with an ace up its sleeve. Okay, I have to admit, that was a little cheesy, a little corny, but it's fine. Coming in at number 4, we're gonna have the Ace of Spades, which comes with a handful of perks. You might say with a full house. All right, fine. That is the last poker pun I'm gonna have for the rest of the video. For a gun in an archetype that doesn't sit at the top of the food chain, being a 140 RPM hand cannon, this weapon gets bumped up to the top of the list with its exotic perks. For starters, the exotic perk Momentum Mori reads, reloading after a kill loads the magazine with a few extra damage bullets. In layman's terms, reloading after a kill grants you 6 damage bonus shots, essentially making your weapon go from a 140 RPM hand cannon to a 120 damage impact hand cannon. Now, what does this mean? When you have the perk Momentum Mori active, you'll be dealing damage up there like our high impact hand cannons, making this weapon a 3 headshot kill to a 2 head 1 body kill, which is huge. But aside from the bonus damage perks, one of the things that makes the Ace of Spades a family-friendly gun is its perk that grants a radar when aiming down sights. Look, I'd be lying to you if I said that the radar in Destiny isn't powerful. It's probably one of your best assets when it comes to winning engagements. But imagine having that radar active even when you're aiming down sights. I know, it sounds like heaven. It kind of spoils you, since when you change from the Ace of Spades to another gun, you kind of miss that active radar. Ultimately, I could put the Ace of Spades up against any weapon on this list and it'll keep up. Now, moving into our next gun, this next gun might shock anyone who is anti-meta. In number 3, we have the Dead Man's Tale. This exotic scout rifle was introduced into the game this season. This scout rifle is pretty unique compared to other scout rifles in Destiny. This lever action scout rifle falls in a category all on its own, and with the perk Cranial Spike, chaining precision hits grants bonus damage and quickens reload speed. Well, you're looking at some pretty nasty damage. With Cranial Spike active, your headshot damage goes from 81 to 84, and that's just with 1 stack. With 2 stacks, it goes up to 87, and with 3 stacks, it goes up to 91, which can really improve your time to kill. I know that sounds like a lot of damage, but if I had to sell you on anything with this scout rifle, it would be the exotic catalyst, which increases hip fire rate of fire and removes hip fire accuracy penalty. With the catalyst unlocked and completed, this scout rifle's RPM changes from a 120 RPM to a 150 RPM while in hip fire form. If you ever wanted a scout rifle meta, or a scout rifle that can hang with the big boys of the Crucible, then don't be caught dead without Dead Man's Tail. You see what I did there? Guys, this is an awesome scout rifle, and this is what made it to number 3 on the list. It's an awesome weapon, and I recommend you give it a shot, especially in the hip fire form. And for my controller players out there, this is something that's going to rank up there with the last word. All right, let's move on to number 2 on the list. This next weapon on the list is quite possibly the closest reincarnation to the Redrix's broadsword. In number 2, we have the Trials of Osiris pulse rifle, the Messenger. Now, this weapon has a good pull of perks, but if you're someone that wants to take a good pulse rifle and supercharge it, then you're going to want to go with the perk Desperado, which reads, reloading after a precision final blow increases your rate of fire, essentially turning your 340 RPM pulse rifle to a 540 RPM monster. And guys, that is a huge boost. That's why I said supercharge. Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this one here. At base, in its 340 form, you have a pulse rifle that has a consistent 2 burst, requiring you to land both full bursts, giving you a time to kill of a 0.67. But when you're in its supercharged form, the Desperado form, your TTK rings in at a 0.47, which is a nice boost, but it's not the biggest benefit. When this perk is active, one of the biggest benefits that is overlooked is the fact that you can miss a couple shots and you can still secure a monster time to kill. Even at a 0.47, if you don't land that 2 burst right off the bat, by the time you fire a 3rd burst, you're probably still going to have a faster time to kill than most weapons in Destiny. Now, I know some of you out there are like, Brave, that sounds like an awesome gun. How do I get it? Now, the easiest way to get your hands on this weapon is to jump into Trials playlist. On the weekend, you can earn it. Now, you're probably saying, whoa, Trials, I don't touch that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't do that there. It's like drugs. I don't do that. I'm right there with you. Sometimes I don't like to play Trials. Maybe you don't have a team, or maybe you struggle to get wins. The second easiest way to get it is simply by picking up the bounty endgame. Now, you can get this bounty from Saint 14, and this is probably the easiest way and most stress-free way to get a chance at this weapon. All you have to do is complete the bounty, and it's super easy. Just load into a couple games, you can die, get a couple kills, whatever it may be. You don't even have to win. And again, this bounty can be completed on all your characters once a week. It's pretty crazy, guys. You get 3 chances at it, and you don't have to do anything but just fire up a fire team, go to LFG, get a fire team, and go play. All right, making its way to number 1, we have a powerful gun here, which has a lot of brothers in the Crucible. Guys, number 1, we're going to have the Igneous Hammer, which is an energy 120 RPM high impact hand cannon. Now, you might be asking yourself, what sets this apart from its fellow brethren in the Crucible, its fellow high impact hand cannons? Well, for starters, this weapon's overall base stats are best in class. Comparing it to something like the True Prophecy, the hammer has better recoil direction, aim assist value, and overall a smaller perk selection, making any rolls with this hand cannon somewhat viable in the Crucible, as opposed to the True Prophecy that has an extremely diluted perk pool. You can get yourself some really weird perks on the True Prophecy, and you're kind of like, I guess I'll use it. But with the Igneous Hammer and its much smaller perk pool, you can really get any roll with this gun, and it's probably going to be extremely viable in the Crucible. But the perk pool isn't the only thing that makes this gun number 1. As someone who is an avid hand cannon user, I found that the Igneous Hammer is a more satisfying weapon model. Comparing it next to the True Prophecy, when firing the Igneous Hammer, its recoil isn't as hindering to the user. When you fire the True Prophecy, the potential to miss your follow-up shots is there. You're probably asking yourself, well, why? Why is that, Brave? Why is the True Prophecy much more difficult to use? Well, it's pretty simple. When you fire the True Prophecy, you have a more boxy feel to it. So your front reticle is covered by your barrel. When you fire the weapon, it kicks so hard that your barrel covers your target. And this can lead to more inconsistent follow-up shots, more difficult follow-up shots to land. Unlike the Igneous Hammer, when you fire, you have an easier kick on it, and it doesn't really cover your target as much, which it allows you to get back on target and have more consistent follow-up shots. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on the Igneous Hammer, you pretty much have to follow the same process that you did with the Messenger. Especially for my non-PvP veterans out there, you just want to pick up the bounty endgame, follow the same process, and remember that the Igneous hammer has a much smaller perk pool, so any roll you get with it is going to be pretty viable. Overall, any of these weapons are top tier. Each one of them can easily get you to 5,500 competitive points, or take you from 0 to hero in trials. And remember, if you're going to be putting in work in survival or trials, you're going to need to use the right tools for the job. But like always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, you might want to consider subscribing for more Destiny 2 content. Also, if you haven't seen my most recent PvP tip videos, you'll see those playlists at the end of the screen, which if you're looking to improve in PvP, there's a variety of playlists that can help you out, from sniping tips to movement guides to what subclasses you should be running. But like always, follow me on all social media platforms, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.